we have discussed earlier. We discussed something about from two significant points here: color value with the color depth, and the difference we have seen what. Rabina Frin Omi, can you tell me about the difference between color value and color depth? Those two? Omi? I cannot hear you. Omi, are you speaking?
Sir? Sir, hear you, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yes. Color value and color depth.
Color value and color. Sir, sir, sorry, sir.
Okay, Uday, can you tell me? Uday, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can hear you, sir.
Yeah.
So, color depth means the bits used in every pixel is
Mm-hmm.
color depth, sir. And the
Right.
color value that the pixel is carrying in each and every color, the
Right.
value of each pixel.
Each pixel with their, if it is colored, then red, green, and blue combination, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, and color depth is actually the number of bits allocated,
Yes,
so
sir.
that 2 to the power that number is actually the all possible color it can hold. So,
Yes.
how is your health now?
It's good, sir, but I've made several journeys, so I might get mild cold fever. This is the
Okay,
problem.
all right. Yeah, take care. Okay, then gray level also same that we have seen. These two technique we have discussed: beam penetration and shadow mask method. So, Nishat, can you tell me, Nishatara, what is this two methods are for? Nishat Ara, can you hear me?
Sir?
Yes, Nishat. We can see these two method: beam penetration method and shadow mask method. What are they used for? These two method.
Sir, I was absent in the last class.
You were absent in the last class. Okay. Uh, Rahul, Rahul Devnath. Rahul, can you tell me about these two method? What are they used for? Can you hear me, Rahul? Rahul, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you, sir.
Yes. Can you tell me about this two method is used for?
Also, characters to say, so,
Yes. Yes. Are you going to say something? Muhammad Al Amin. Muhammad Al Amin.
so commonly used in cluster skin system
Yes, Rahul, you are saying something maybe.
products a much wider range of
I cannot hear you properly actually. Cannot understand actually what you say, what you are saying. Okay, that's fine. I think Rahat Aslam Rupu. Rupu, can you tell me about this two method is for used for what? Beam penetration method and shadow mask method.
Yes, sir. The beam penetration method has been used with the random scan monitor.
Random scan monitor, yeah, that's for beam penetration method, and shadow mask method is for
And
raster display, right?
in the yes, sir, instead of
Raster display. In both of these cases, these methods are actually applied for the CRT display. This is actually the common, okay?
yes, sir.
For that vector
That
display
display,
and random display, but they have the mechanism of CRT display. That means actually that there is a gun and it's been throwing the electron beam on the screen where you have the phosphor coating. That's actually the thing.
Yes, sir.
The mechanism of beam penetration method, how it actually work, right? Ritu, can you tell me about Arifakta Ritu? This beam penetration method, how it works?
Yes, sir.
How it works? In short, actually, that
Sir, penetration method has been used for random scan mentors, and it's only used on CRT screen is coated with 2 layers of
color, yeah. That's right, two layer. That is red and green, right?
red and green.
And the main mechanism is how strongly that you can throw the
High speed electrons, sir.
according to the actually speed or how fast that you can throw the electron on the red layer, then actually inner coating is actually the green
Inner
layer.
coating and yes, sir. Green
Then
is
different color can be actually produced, but only 4 color it can produce actually. That's why it's not
yes,
good for the real life image. Okay, thank you. And in shadow mask method, already we have seen that there is a metal actually disc with small holes. That's why it's called the actually shadow. That is a metal shadow. And shadow mask method also, this is called the delta method, because on the phosphor skin for the color CRT gun we have 3 guns, so 3 of those electron beam falls on the screen where we have actually 3 dotted that red, green and blue in the subpixel level that dotted phosphor coating, and it created shape like a triangle shape. So that's why it's also called the delta shadow mask. Okay. Then we said about the flat panel display. We started this discussion by making 2 category, that is active display, passive display, active light emitting display or passive light modulating display. How they are different, who can tell? This classification, how they are different? What do you mean by active light emitting display or passive light modulating display?
So
Can
in general,
anyone
we can
tell?
consider
Yeah.
when emitting this light emitting, there has diode, and about light modulating, there has a layer.
There has a layer.
Yes, sir.
And active light emitting display,
There has
it does not have any layer.
there is diode directly that emit that generate the light, the color.
Make it more clear. You said generate the light or make it color. You also said diode. So what actually your
So
point?
it is divided into basis of light.
Light. Yeah, that's right. That's what you said. So what actually the light is all about in the classification here? Basis of light, that's right. Then Pratasha?
Sir, I did not understand the question.
My question is, this classification is basis of light. Now, what do you mean by active light, passive light, or light modulating, light emitting? What do you mean by that? Fairuz Tajim Achal? Achal, can you tell me? Light modulating or light emitting, what actually does they mean here? Achal, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
What do you mean by active or light emitting display? You see that there is an example has been given as well, that flat CRT display, plasma display, these are actually light emitting display, and passive one is light modulating display, and which is a liquid crystal LCD, LED, those are actually the passive or light modulating display.
No, sir.
No, okay, that's fine. Who can then maybe Ratul, can you tell me? Redwan Ahmed Ratul?
Sir, in active, sir, in active light, actually the
Active light. You are getting muted. I don't know why. You have muted Ratul.
Sir, can I?
Yes, please.
Sir, light emitting display, that means a flat panel display, and it uses only for the array of light emitting diodes and as pixel for a video display. That means it cleared the screen of and allows to brightness and outdoor. That means it clear out for visibly.
You are talking about LED display maybe.
Sir, light emitting display.
But light emitting display, the concept is different, where the active light is actually used. Active light not used actually, they do create it, while the passive display, which is light modulating display, they have a light source as like diode, and then they actually modulate the light for actually displaying the image as like LED display. LED display is not light emitting display, okay? LED display is light modulating display because they use the light through the diode. All right, that was actually the difference we have said. Where the light is created and been used to display the image, that is called the light emitting display, and that is the active part. Which one is actually only we are using the light from a source, and then actually we are modulate it. Modulation is actually changing the property of the light. As light, you know that it is also an electromagnetic wave, so especially if you work with that wave, that is actually the modulation call. So if you use that property to generate the image, which is done in the liquid crystal display on your most of the mobile phone that you are actually using, are LED or LCD display, or if they are OLED display, then it is different. Organic sense, then it is light emitting. But general LED display is not light emitting display, that's light modulating display. So through the example we will see that how they're different, okay, or what is the basic difference of this classification is. That things you need to understand, otherwise this active or passive concept will not be clear, okay. Okay, so let us come for the attendance. Then we'll start with the active light editing one. Requesting you to come to the video, please.
Sir, may I ask a question, sir?
Yes, please.
Sir, is this slide given in the Google Classroom, sir?
Why you are asking me?
Sir, I couldn't find it, sir. That's why.
Then it is not been given.
Yes, sir.
Right, Didar? Yes, I said I was about to actually this weekend. I was busy, and we had that practicum defense. So from morning 8 to even evening 8, we had to struggle about breakfast, lunch, and everything. So that's why I could not work out actually, and hopefully that I'll give it very soon. I had a plan to give the actually what is called not only the recording, also the slide as well. You will get it, but I do expect I'm going very slow actually, not few topic in one day. So I hope that whenever you attend the classes, you at least write down at least few lines for the topic, so that actually you can answer. When we come back in the next day, you can answer or make relate that what we are talking about. But many students actually don't do that, that we can see. Anyway, as the Viva is coming, then actually you will feel the heat, many of you, because you have to give actually more time then for preparation. Do you have Alif, Laila, Jannat?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Jannat, Ashikur Rahman, Ashik.
Yes, sir.
Ashik is there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Muhammad Alamin.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Alamin. Nishatara.
Yes, sir. Sir, I have changed my profile picture, sir.
But this one is not showing here. Anyway, please comply it. Otherwise, we have an instruction, so that we have to follow it. Okay. Shahidul Islam Antur.
Present, sir.
Sumaya Akhtar.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Sumaya. Arifa Akhtar Ritu.
Present, sir.
Okay, Ritu. Umme Jinatun Nisa.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Jinat. Parvez Alam.
Present, sir.
Okay, Parvez. Redwan Ahmed Ratul.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Ratul. Salvi Sabah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Salvi. Jakaria Hassan Pappu. Pappu, I can see you. Cannot hear you. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Maria Mehjabin.
Present, sir.
Okay, Maria. What about, you change as well. Israt Jarin.
Present, please, sir.
Okay, Jarin. Are you very sick, Holly?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Abdul Khalik.
Yes, sir.
Are you there, Abdul Khalik? I cannot see you.
Present, sir.
Yes, got it. Ravina Afrinomi.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Omi. Tajnova Yasinisha.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Isha. Sharia Tayon.
Present, sir.
Okay, Tayon. Hussein Ahmed Antur.
Present, sir.
Okay, Antur. Protasha.
Yes, sir.
Alright, Protasha, got it. Sharnika.
Yes, sir. Sir, can you see my picture right now?
Yes, I can see it. Still, it is not actually like Khadija Rahman Ria as well. You still have photo for the Facebook. Okay, it should be actually as close, like we call it ID card. The professional photo should be very close, and the background should be actually in one color, especially. If you check in any first world country website for visa application, you will find that there is an instruction that what kind of photo you should have. Anyway, I hope that you will find it something like that as well. Khadija Rahman Ria.
Present, sir.
Yes, Ria, are you there?
Yes, sir. Hello, sir.
I cannot see you.
Hello, sir. Present, sir.
Okay, got it. Rahat Islam Rupu.
Present, please, sir.
Mahmoud Akhtar,
Yes, sir.
Didar Al Mahmoud.
Present, sir.
Okay, Didar. Didar, what about last class? You are absent, maybe, right?
No, sir. I was present. My webcam was not working, sir.
Oh yes, your webcam was not working. It's looking good. You bought an expensive one, maybe?
No, sir. I gave my previous one for warranty. It was manufacturing fault. I had this one from the beginning of this semester, sir.
Okay. All right. Tamanna Tabassum.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Tamanna. Saib Mahmoud Sifat.
Present, sir.
Sifat, what about Thursday, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. What was the fact you were absent?
Sir, I was in the hospital.
You were in the hospital means you were admitted?
No,
Or
sir,
you,
I was not admitted. I was staying with my grandmother.
how is she doing now?
Sir, not so good. She is still sick.
All right. Okay. Fairuz Tanji Machal.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Achal. Sadiatun Nisha Shetuli.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Shetuli. Mustafa Iram Uday.
Present, sir.
Okay, Uday. Sadia Hussain Mouri.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mouri. Sadia Akhtar.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Sadia. Mantakimur Rahman. Mantakimur Rahman. Atik Faisal Limon.
Yes,
Atik
sir.
Faisal Limon. Okay, got it. Rahul Devnath. Rahul
Yes,
Devnath.
sir. Yes, sir.
Nishat Tasnim Jyoti. Nishat Tasnim Jyoti. Sadat Mahmud Khan. Sadat Mahmud Khan. Firdaus Hussain Rifat. Firdaus Hussain Rifat. Khaja Minhaz Monip. Khaja Minhaz Monip. Nahida Islam. Nahida Islam. Bottom and all serially getting absent. Hasibul Hassan Shanto.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Shanto. Sharmin Sultana.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Sharmin. Shanto, you don't have any photo? Hasibul Hassan Shanto. Shanto, can you hear me? Sharmin Sultana, you also need to change it, okay?
Okay, sir.
Yes, please. Ryan Hussain.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Ryan. Muhammad Alamin.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Alamin. Tariqul Islam.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Tariq. And Ashikul Jaman.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Ashik. Alamin, you should also have the photo. Yes. Minhaj,
Sir, can you hear me, sir?
I can hear you. Yes. Yes, I have updated. And please have a photo, Minhaj, looking at this way. Okay.
Sorry, sir. I will try again.
Yeah, change that actually on a like a professional one, a photo like that. Okay, that's fine. All right, let us start then with the topic that we need to go through about is flat panel display. The difference that we have said, I hope that you have understood. If you still are not at this moment, just try to understand this way, that when we are saying active flat panel display with light emitting discharge, where we are creating the light. So every device in here, they create the light and then they use it to see the image, because already we know that to see any image we must need the light, right? And the passive one is light modulating, that we are calling, which is actually using the light. Maybe they are not creating the light, they use a light source, okay, to get the light, but they are maybe using the property of the light to generate the image. Okay, property means the modulation that we have said about the wave related activity. Now for the flat panel one, or the active one, the light emitting discharge, we see the flat CRT. So what is the mechanism of the CRT display we had? We had an electron actually gun, we are actually throwing the electron going through two system, deflection system, and they are actually falling on the screen with the phosphor coating screen, and then they try to paint from the top to bottom, and you can see the image. Now you can say how it is actually light emitting display. You can see here when the electron beam falls on the phosphor on that point, actually the light is created. Okay, and that light is created for a very short time, as we know that persistence nature of the phosphor is very short, so we need to redraw the image, and top to bottom that we do, and we can see the display. Now that was actually the conventional size, maybe the bigger one. Now the flat panel CRT is, which is actually slim one. We have used that one as well in the computer for a long time, in the official uses, because there is not that much space. So those type of display monitor, the electron beam actually goes parallelly to the screen. So you can see here the mechanism here, that actually parallelly to the screen it goes, and at some point there is a reflector which actually the electron beam reflects the electron beam to fall down. It guides that to change the angle to fall down on the screen, and then it actually paint. So that's why the size or mechanism of the display is getting actually the flat. So the projecting the electron beam parallel to the screen first, then reflecting it through the 90-degree, and it has all the performance advantages of the conventional CRT, like the same working activity. Okay, and available only in the small sizes. So nothing new to say about that flat CRT. You can understand. Say like this is coming in your exam, then try to explain the flat panel CRT display. Then you should use actually the same conventional that method for that flat panel, for that CRT display. Only the mechanism is this electron gun actually going through parallel to the phosphor skin, then actually it's falling on the skin by changing the angle, but they are going through the same process. Okay, now another display that is actually the flat panel for light emitting display is called plasma display. Okay, and we all know plasma is a special situation, right? Can anyone tell what is plasma? Yes, Ashik, what is plasma?
So usually consider plasma means a large one.
Plasma is large one means I didn't get it.
I can't answer this exactly, sir.
Sir, it's a position, sir.
It's a position. Could be better we can say situation maybe, rather than the position.
Yes, sir.
Anyone else about the plasma? Okay, plasma is a very special situation, okay, for the matter. We know that matter can be in liquid form, a solid form, right, or maybe in gas. That three common actually approach. The plasma is actually the different one out of this, any three of that. So what actually it is? It is actually happen in some of the gas. If we just apply the electricity on it, then that gas actually the breakdown means their atom could be breakdown, and whenever their atom breakdown, that actually a special situation, a special condition for the gas. Ionized, that's actually means it could have charged particle in that, so those electrons are come out from those gas, and that condition is actually called the plasma. Okay, and that plasma condition is used for one of the display. That's why you have seen that plasma is a very large display and also very expensive display. if you go for any plasma television or something like that. So each cell is actually filled with gas, and they have actually those glass kind of envelope kind of cell. As we all know, envelope is something like which can be packed. So the glass envelope that we have, which is actually having filled with the gas, especially what type of gas? Neon, argon, xenon, those type of gas I have a mixture of it, and they have been kept very low pressure, below the atmospheric pressure that we have. They have been kept actually in the low pressure. You have to, this is a precondition, otherwise it cannot actually be a charged particle there, or ionized condition cannot be possible. Now when you apply the voltage in that gas, then that gas actually dissociates. That means the electrons of those gas in the outer circle of it, they come out from the atom, and this dissociated gas, this condition is called actually the plasma, a special situation for the matter, as you can see. And these electrons, now whenever you give that voltage, what actually happens, that gas actually they become the plasma. When the voltage is not that, suddenly those electrons come back to their own position, means before they are actually rotating on that position of that atom, they come back again. That is called the recombination, that gas. Now when they goes out as a plasma, when they come back as their own position, then what happened? By this time some energy actually released, that is called the surplus energy. That energy released, but that energy is released as a form of photon. Okay, and we know that photon is the element of the light. So the gas started to glow. So for a while it started to glow. You see that this is the way the light has been created. Okay, and that's why this is also called light emitting display or the discharge, right? So that's actually the plasma display is all about. It becomes in a large size, and also it has a very good resolution. So we have a video here, a short video, not that much big. Let us check it, but let me put the sound as well, otherwise get it. Okay.
Grammarly is your personal writing assistant for clear emails, confident messages, stronger essays, and more.
Light. The plasma module needs plasma. The transformation happens between the electrodes.
Just maybe.
The plasma screen relies on yet another state of matter called plasma. As a result of energy transfers within this very unique state of matter, this screen can display pictures. Okay, but how does it work? The plasma screen, the housing, the power supply, the multimedia interface, the electronics, the video card, and finally the surface upon which pictures are displayed, the famous plasma module. It's made up of two thin plates of glass stuck to one another. It's here where, thanks to plasma, pictures are created. But to understand how, it's time to do some shattering. It all starts with an incoming video signal. For example, through a cable. The signal is sent to the video card, where it's decoded, and to the electronic circuits controlling the appearance of pictures in the plasma module. More than 2 billion electrical impulses are sent to the plasma module every second. The module's two glass plates are covered with transparent electrodes. And in order to transform these electrical impulses into pictures made of colored light, the plasma module needs plasma. The transformation happens between the electrodes, in the pixels. They're tiny cavities engraved on the rear glass plate and trapped under the front glass plate, laid out in a 1024 by 768 grid. There are precisely 786,432. Each pixel constitutes one point on the picture being displayed. Each pixel is divided into 3 subpixels. The bottoms of the subpixels are coated with phosphor, a substance that gives off light when excited by ultraviolet rays. When that happens, the first subpixel gives off red light, the second gives off green light, and the third, blue light. By combining these 3 colors, each pixel can produce 549 million different colors. The question now becomes, how are the ultraviolet rays required to light these subpixels produced? The answer is the plasma. Each subpixel is filled with a mixture of gas, xenon and neon. When an electrical impulse of about 300 volts rushes through a subpixel on its way to the electrodes, electrons from the gas mixture are violently torn off and suddenly float freely. That drastically changes the state of the mixture. It's no longer gas. It's now plasma. It's a highly energized state of matter, but it's a state that lasts only as long as the electrical discharge. As soon as the discharge ends, the freed electrons immediately return to their places, and the plasma once again becomes gas. What's important is that as they return to their places, the electrons release their surplus energy in the form of ultraviolet rays. It's these rays that excite the subpixel, which gives off light that combines with the light given off by the 2 other subpixels, and together, they light up the pixel. Every second, the plasma screen sends more than 2 billion electrical impulses into the subpixels in order to turn the gas there into plasma. The sole purpose being the ultraviolet emissions given off once the plasma returns to its gas state. All that so pictures can appear pixel by pixel on the screen. The plasma screen. To display pictures...
Alright, as you have seen, that few things when that has been in the subpixel level, and these are the electrodes has been used for actually giving the voltage to those small cells, and this also phosphor has been used. You can see in the bottom of the coating of those small those glass cell. The reason is whenever the light create that light, if you have a phosphor, and it actually started to glow far better, so that's why it looks more bright and actually the nice combination. And to get the creating the light, why we are calling it a light emitting display, because light has been created here. The mechanism of creating light is actually that from this electrode to this electrode on the voltage has been passed, then actually this gas mixture of the gas which is actually trapped, and it is in a low pressure, lower than the atmospheric pressure, then the electron of those gas actually they come out. That is called the gas dissociation. They come out and they started to move freely. But whenever the charge goes from here to here and that ends, then actually it again go back to their places. Now it is coming out and going back to that places. So by that time there's some energy release, means some photon actually create for light, it is started to glow, and that point actually it is started to show on the back side or maybe that glass cell. So that's actually the mechanism it has been used for. You can see here that for subpixel level they are also red, green and blue. So you can see in the CRT we use the electron gun, and we actually fall on the phosphor skin, and it excited and create the light with the red, green and blue phosphor they had, and they actually display in your television or the display RDR display. You had actually like that. The plasma display is also actually a very updated or expensive display, but still they have some kind of mechanism like it. You see the way of actually activity is kind of same, that when they try to actually in the subpixel level try to somehow create the light to generate the image to show that according. Now you may have a question like how they control it. So according to the actually electric pulse signal, that what you have, that signal they decode and give it actually the volt, that on the basis of that actually that what actually it will be created with the light definition, that which should get actually what amount of the voltage, so that actually you can see the illumination level. Okay, so this plasma is mostly used in the television that you have seen, and also it comes in a bigger size. That's actually we have seen in there. So I hope that you see that there is no diagram here for the plasma display. If you have in your exam something, then always try to explain with the diagram, and you can take a actually idea from the video that you had also to do the explanation. Okay, we will go for now one of the light modulating display, where we will see that light is not created, light has been used, and that is actually use the liquid crystal display. You know that this is the one of the most popular display that you can see in everywhere, LCD display. In the device basis, we had so many devices that has been used for this purpose. So for LCD, the liquid crystal is actually kind of a liquid that we have seen. Now they have actually different form. You can see they look different, isn't it? The liquid crystal, those elements are there. One is actually called that nematic one, in the leftmost one. The speciality of this is actually their molecules of those crystals are actually one to another, almost like jagged with entering to one to another. Then another form is smectic, which is actually, it's almost like lined up and in a row, mostly looks like in a row that they have been lined up. And cholesteric are actually also having a level wise actually a grouping, and quite different from the other two that they have. Now in LCD display or the liquid crystal, that the type has been used is actually the nematic one. So that nematic one, this one has been used because we are calling it actually the light modulating display, as you can see. So the light modulation, the wave modulation can be used in here. So this is having an activity to do with this light modulation. So that in LCD, that we also have few videos for it, but before that let us have a very general discussion here from the diagrams. This is also from the book we have been taken. You can see here that these are actually alignment of these nematic liquid crystals here on the lower, this image you can see here. They are actually, usually they are been in nematic form, they are been at this moment. Now in this nematic form, in the liquid crystal, if we try to pass the light does not actually pass the formation of the element, so that because light is also a wave, it cannot go through that wave. Now we use this actually feature for the LCD. What they do, according to that actually this crystals, that element, if we can actually the this crystal align with the wave, light wave, then actually we can pass the light through that liquid crystal, that the alignment of those crystals. If they are in the nematic form, they do, then actually light cannot actually, the enter cannot actually come out. So this on and off, actually this situation has been used in the, that is actually used for the display. Okay, now to do that one, to working with this actually alignment, we need a polarizing film or a sheet. For the polarizing is actually which take the light and work with the wave of the light, and they have been actually charged. You can see that they are actually that polarizing sheet here, those two of that form in a two different lineup. This is actually the vertical one, you can see, and this one is horizontal one. From the diagram itself you can see it. Those actually, what color? This is a bluish color. These are actually the polarizing sheet. These two polarizing sheet, they inside is trapped the liquid crystal in the nematic form. Okay, so that that's why it says consists of an electrically controlled electrically controlled light polarizing sheet, light polarizing liquid trapped in cells between the two transparent polarizing sheets, so that the vertical one and the horizontal one, and inside that the liquid crystal, which is actually also light polarization, will be done according to their alignment of the pneumatic form. Now an electric current passed through the liquid, okay, causes the crystals, these crystals, to align or not, so that the light can or cannot pass through them. So it is saying that whatever the liquid we have for the crystals, we will apply the electricity so that this crystal will align. So if they align according to the light wave, then light will pass through, or maybe they will be in the pneumatic form so that light cannot pass. So this light can or cannot, this on or off state, you can see that is actually creating to give the signal actually to the screen so that we can see the image. Now each crystal therefore is like a shutter. They have been actually working as like a shutter, either allowing the light to pass through or blocking the light. Now backlight is applied using the solid state electronic device. You can see that that's why it is called the light modulating, because they are not creating any light here. This is that orange color, almost like that, is showing actually the light wave. You can see that it is twisted. This light wave is coming from where? There is nothing been shown here. That means it is coming from some source. In LCRT display, in plasma display, we have seen that they are creating the light, right? But here light is not created. Light has been used here from some source is coming, and the wave of the light is actually used here. That is actually the modulation, and this that's why it's called the light modulation display. And that backlight is actually the light source has been used. The CCFL is actually used for the LCD, cold cathode fluorescent light. In more detail about these layers, that how it works, in this diagram you can see the 6 layers has been talking about. The vertical filter, you can see here, this is the vertical filter, has been the light is as it is enters, okay, and there is the horizontal filter, these two of the filter. Now in between those two you can see this white color one, these are actually the transparent conductor, and those two is actually try to control with the ITO electrodes created with indium tin oxide, which lines up, one is with the vertical one is with the horizontal one. So this 1 2 3 4, these 4 are actually coming with a pair. This is actually for that polarizing sheet, that one for the polarizing sheet with that actually glass electrode, which is actually good for electron conductivity. Okay, so that's why it's called the conductor as well. And the same type of layer is also with another one with the horizontal one. Okay, so that's why it is showing. So one is actually that ITO electrode. ITO is actually indium tin oxide. This is made with the vertical one, and one is with the horizontal one. In between the number 3 is actually twisted liquid. That's why it almost like invisible, but you can see that there is a layer there, which is actually my liquid crystals. Okay, and then the 4 is also the glass substrate with common that electrode film and that ITO film, which lines up with the horizontal filter. And finally the last one, 5 is horizontal filter to block the light or allow the light through, and 6 is reflective surface to send the light back to the viewer so that we can see it. So if light goes through this way, if it is actually this is twisted, then light cannot pass out. If this is actually according to the light wave alignment, then actually it goes through, and then actually it can be shown on the screen there with the, this is the reflector which shows in there. Okay, so that is actually the working procedure of the liquid crystal display. This is only 1 or 2 minutes, so we may finish with this video there so that you can actually have the idea about is it opening? Yeah.
ইউনিভার্সিটি লাইফ বলেন আর ক্যারিয়ার, একটা সফটওয়্যার যেটা আপনার সব জায়গায় লাগবে সেটা হচ্ছে
video, you would see thousands of small red, green. Zoom in on the monitor. If you were to zoom in on the monitor you are using to watch this video, you would see thousands of small red, green, and blue dots. 3 of these grouped together make up one picture element, or pixel for short. When you split up each pixel, you will see a backlight, 3 color filters, and polarizers. As light leaves the backlight, it travels along different planes, including the horizontal and vertical planes. The first polarizer only allows light traveling along the horizontal plane to pass through it, and onto the color filters. With another polarizer that only allows light to pass along the vertical axis, all the horizontal light waves are blocked, so no light reaches the color filters. This is where the liquid crystals come into play. If you were to look closely at one of these liquid crystals, you would see a transparent electrode on the front and the back, as well as etched glass on the front and the back. Liquid crystals typically orient themselves in random directions until the horizontally etched glass in the rear and the vertically etched glass in the front force them to twist into a predictable pattern. As light passes through the compressed liquid crystal, it naturally follows the path of the molecules, so that any light traveling along the horizontal plane exits along the vertical plane. By reintroducing the electrodes and passing electricity through them, we can get the molecules to align themselves in the direction of the electric flow, causing light to no longer twist when passing through the liquid crystal. When we place these crystals back into the pixel, we can see that the light from the backlight will pass through the horizontal filter, get twisted into a vertical position by the liquid crystals, and then flow through the vertical polarizer to the color filters. However, if we turn on the electrodes, then the light is no longer twisted by the liquid crystals and stops at the vertical polarizer. By adjusting the amount of electricity that flows through each set of electrodes, we can control how much light reaches each color filter, and therefore what color is seen on the display. We generally talk about colors on a display in terms of how bright the red, green, and blue are in each pixel, from 0 to 255. If all 3 numbers are 0, the color on the display appears black, and if all are 255, then the display appears white. As you increase the amount of red, green, and blue in each pixel, you will see different colors appear on the screen. The monitor adjusts the amount of electricity flowing through each liquid crystal one by one, row by row, around 60 times per second. This has been a short look at how LCD monitors work.
Alright, so the important thing, as you have seen, that this alignment, okay, and this alignment is done, as you can see the 2 polarizer here. We talked about the vertical on the front side, back side is horizontal. Here they are showing the horizontal is on the front side and vertical on the back side. Now the light, when it comes through, as you can see, the polarizer main job is actually according to their polarizing sheet. Is horizontal one, the light wave will be horizontal one. If you can actually charge those 2 of this particle, that polarizing sheet, then according to the actually charge, those 2 sheet, the alignment actually happen. The vertical, horizontal to vertical, you see that how they twisted this liquid crystal, and so they make a way, actually kind of a way for the light to enter, and also the light actually automatically it bent, okay, from horizontal to become the vertical. If they can be vertical, this sheet is actually vertical, so that light can pass out. Do you understand? If you don't charge them, then they become actually in,
so that any light electrode,
so that you can see here,
back into the pixel, we can, and then flow through the vertical polarizer.
So this is a position, actually it has been given charge, and the liquid is twisted and light is actually passing through. You can see passing through, so that it is illuminated. But whenever we found like
horizontal filter, get twisted in.
So when actually there's another one which was like this one, you can see here that this part, the liquid crystals are actually not aligned according to the polarizing sheet. They are maybe all vertical or something, like in a nematic form they have been. So light actually cannot, if they even enter, but they cannot come out. So that's why actually it is not reaching in here. In fact, they are blocked, and this is actually, the pixels are actually dark. So according to the controlling of that, according to the signal that in the subpixel level, you can actually generate different color. It has been shown there at least. Okay. All right. Thank you. We will actually start the discussion from here on the next class, and then the LED is actually same mechanism, only they have actually the backlight. That's actually the thing. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. I'll see you in the next class then.
Okay, sir. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu
Assalamu alaikum.